Guys and girls, my name's Al from Games Rep, and you join me today on a very, very good day because we're going to play Metroid for the Game Boy Advance. Who doesn't love the Game Boy Advance? Who doesn't love Metroid, for crying out loud? So obviously, if you had an original Nintendo back in the day, you probably had this game. It's a hard game, I'm not going to lie, and it does require, well, let's say, a lot of replayability, as well as memorization and also map making skills. Now, why would you want to use map making skills? Well, let's find out, shall we? So all the way from 1986, now playing on the Game Boy Advance in 2004, although that was 12 years ago, it's the classic that everyone knows and loves, it's Metroid. So what is Metroid? Well, basically, in a nutshell, you play a character called Samus, and she, yeah, that's right, she, because back in those days, in the video game world, there were not that many female leads. This was probably one of the first. Anyway, Samus, she's a bounty hunter. She's an intergalactic bounty hunter. And she's on the hunt for space pirates. And basically, they control biosamples of deadly creatures. Yeah? Okay? Is that hooked your interest yet? Because if it hasn't, it should. Now, before I go any further, I will say this game actually was heavily inspired by Aliens. Now, obviously, as you all, my loyal watchers here would know, I absolutely love Aliens, but yeah, this game was also what am I trying to say here, was also inspired heavily by Alien. The crazy thing is that the game actually has some characters within the game that also makes me think that it really was inspired by Aliens even more, so much so that there's a guardian in the game called Ridley. Now, that could be Ridley Scott, I think that's probably what it is, or it could be slightly sounding like Ripley. Either that, or I'm just looking into it slightly too much. Now, the space pirates are basically trying to harness the power of these parasites called the Metroids, or the Metroid. They're like a race, I suppose, a Metroid race. That's what they're trying to harness, and that's actually why the game is called Metroid, because it's about the life forms. Which is weird, because when I originally played it, I thought the main character was called Metroid. Maybe I'm a little bit naive. Maybe I really am. So let's talk about movement here, because as you could probably tell, in the way that Samus actually jumps around, in the sort of platforming way that she does, this game was heavily influenced by Mario, as you can probably tell. Even the jumping sound also sounds kind of reminiscent of the Mario jumping sound, don't we think? I think it really does. Yeah, I gotta say, it really, really does. And also, this was inspired by Zelda. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure we can tell the reason for this. It's not because of the style, or the way it actually looks. It's more to do with the non-linear gameplay. That's what really inspired it here. Because as we know, Zelda isn't very linear. There's a lot of exploration to that game. Anyway, along the way, you will actually find power-ups. A lot of unlockables along this game, and in all fairness, you really, really need them. Why? Well, it's a really, really tough game. So the things you're going to find along the way, you're going to get a missile launcher, you're going to be able to change the range, the shooting range of your weapons, as well as other things like being able to jump higher and everything like that. The real groundbreaking thing about this game is it actually essentially has a saving system. As you just saw there, you saw the password screen. Again, another big revolutionary thing. I'm pretty sure this was also focused in Zelda as well. But it does also help because back in the days, you really didn't have the saving function very often. Not in most games, anyway. And let me tell you, you do need this saving function because it is a rock-hard game. And, okay, nowadays you can probably complete the game in about an hour and a half if you use maps from online or you use cheats. Now, if you do have this game, this video does also have cheat codes right at the end of this review, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure to pause when it does come up. But yes, you do need these power-up because you really will find this game hard. Well, you would find it impossible to complete it without power-ups. So yeah, let's talk about map making. Now obviously I did originally say this right at the beginning of the video, your map making skills may be required. Now if you don't want to cheat in the sense of using a map done online and you want to complete this properly without cheat codes or without downloading a map, you're going to probably need a pen and a piece of paper or pencil and piece of paper to be able to map your way around the game. Because there is no map system within the game, and because the game literally takes you all around the place, you need to plot where everything is, because you will forget. Well, if you've got a really good memory, you might not, but if I was you, I'd make sure you have a pen and paper. Now, one thing I will say about this game is the controls. They're really, really responsive, and they almost play. This game almost plays as if it was only made the other day. It even looks really, really good. I mean, look at the colours. Even just look at the game itself. It looks good, and in all fairness, better than some of the platforms I've seen nowadays. Because obviously, what a lot of the time they're trying to do now, they're trying to make games look retro. Now, they do look retro, yeah, fair enough, they do. They just don't play like it. They just don't feel retro, and I think that comes down to the control system, the way it sounds, yeah, the way it looks, but it all together. When you play this, you get a real sense of nostalgia. You get the nostalgia of playing this game for a very, very long time with your mate, who is probably mapping the whole damn game to try and complete it. The other thing is the games just nowadays, they're just not that hard compared to this. Okay, you got games like Dark Souls and things like that, but this was next level hard. This really, really was. Now the sound, as you can hear, it does get a little bit repetitive compared to music nowadays, but you got to remember this was on an 8-bit system with not much space to save anything on. So I think this was carried out extremely well and just showed how amazing the people who actually created, the people at Nintendo who created this game really were at their jobs. And I got to applaud them for that. Round of applause, round of applause. Now the game has been so popular over the years that, well, from 1986 up until, well, 30 years. Is that 30? Yeah, 30 years since. Yes, Christ, 30 years. And they're still making games today. Yeah, that just shows how much of an influence this had on the entire gaming industry, and just shows how loved Samus is. Now obviously there's another game that just came out recently that wasn't licensed by Nintendo, naughty naughty, but is an absolute fantastic rendition of Super Metroid. Or is it Metroid 2? I can't quite remember. Anyway, it's called AM2R, so with the 2 I'd probably say it was Metroid 2. If you can find it, get it. If not, wait for a review. I will be playing this eventually and showing you exactly what good work the people did when creating that game. I've been Al from Gameboy. Make sure you hunt this down either on the Wii Marketplace or whatever the hell it's called, or if you can find this in cartridge form, I'd say it's going to be very expensive, or just do what I did. Get the Game Boy Advance classic rendition of this game. This is exactly what I'm playing it on the Game Boy player. I've been Al from Gameboy. Make sure to keep your eyes out for my cheat codes following this, as well as my Halloween reviews coming on Halloween week. I've got a couple. Wait and see what they are. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye!